Are you not entertained? Because this is what college football is all about. Week 10, guys, was absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely lived up to the hype. We saw 8 ranked teams go down, a handful of unranked upsets, some great ranked versus ranked matchups. And of course, guys, we're here to break down everything from this last weekend with our Week 10 college football recap. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. We're so glad that you could join us today. As always, please continue to like, to comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including these expert picks right here. If you haven't signed up, we do not know what you are doing, genuinely. We went 7-3 against the spread in Week 10, brings our yearly total of 65-38 against the spread. That is 63%. If you want to keep losing with whoever you're using other than us, if you want to keep losing by maybe doing some things on your own, go for it. But if you want some guaranteed winnings, if you want a handicapper and a site that's on a 62-29 run against the spread that is dominating all year long, this is the place for you. Go sign up for those today. Go sign up today, one of the lowest prices in the country, and it's a full year-long subscription. So you might say, hey, it's too late in the season, I don't want to sign up. It's not. If you sign up now, you get it through November of next year. Go sign up, take advantage of these winnings, one of the best records in the entire country, and we're not slowing down anytime soon. 70% against the spread this week, 76.9% on the money line this week. Brings our yearly total on the money line to over 80%. Not going to find that mark anywhere else either, especially from guys that are picking over 400 or nearly 400 games. This is the place for you if you want to win big, and we highly, highly encourage you to go sign up for those expert picks, become part of our GE Nation. These numbers are going to be up all year long. Do not miss out. So let's get into the recap. Let's talk college football, guys. It was a great weekend. We said 8 ranked teams go down. That's about like a third of the top 25 rankings. So there's going to be some major shakeups in our GE top 25 that comes out tomorrow. There's bound to be a handful of shakeups in the playoff poll that comes out on Tuesday. Remember, we'll be here with the live stream, breaking down those rankings live with you Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Central Time. But you look at what happened in Week 10. Let's start down in Austin. Our thumbnail for that video said anxiety in Austin. Will there be anxiety in Austin? And I'm sure at first Texas had no anxiety. They were destroying Kansas State. 7th-ranked Longhorns taking down number 23 Kansas State 33-30 in overtime. They were down 27-7, guys. Kansas State was down 20 points. Texas was running away with this game. But with 12:37 to go, the Wildcats had it tied back up at 27, kicked the game-tying field goal with 1 second left, sent the game to overtime, and Chris Klieman made an interesting decision. So a remarkable comeback on the road against a backup quarterback, which allowed Kansas State to get back into this game, we should add. Malik Murphy helped them get the win, but also allowed Kansas State to crawl back into it, and held Texas to a field goal in the first part of the overtime. Kansas State gets the ball and chooses to go for it on 4th and goal from the 4 instead of attempting another field goal to send the game to double overtime. It was a very interesting decision. You see coaches that choose to go for 2 to try to put the game away, things like that, but from 4 yards out, it was a gutsy call considering they couldn't get it in on 3rd and goal. So they went for it, didn't get it. Texas survives, keeps their college football playoff hopes alive with that win. Kansas State leaving with another heartbreaking 1-possession loss to the Longhorns, just as the last 6 years has been. So really, really heartbreaking for the Wildcats. Texas, though, credit to them, held Kansas State, a team that's been running wild all year, held them to just 33 rushing yards on the day while rushing for 230 themselves. Texas won the battle at the line of scrimmage and came through clutch in the end. The Longhorns, again, staying in the college football playoff hunt and are atop the Big 12 standings. How about Notre Dame? Or how about Clemson, we should add? Tyler of Spartenburg. I think Tyler of Spartenburg deserves as much credit for Clemson's win as Dabo Swinney and the players do, because that, I think, lit a fire under Dabo Swinney, lit a fire into this Clemson team. They were struggling. They were 4-4. They were not living up to their expectations. In comes a Notre Dame team that's been looking pretty good, that annihilated Pittsburgh, that was able to annihilate USC. They were looking good, and they stroll into Death Valley and lose 31-23. The Tigers were up 24-6 at one point and seemed to always have an answer for anything Notre Dame threw at them. They forced 3 Notre Dame turnovers, including a pick 6 in the second quarter. Phil Maffa was running wild, 186 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day, and that made up for a lackluster day from Kate Klubnik, who only had 109 passing yards plus an interception there as well. This was a big-time statement win for Clemson. Not that they're going anywhere, right? They're 5-4. They'll probably go bowling, a mediocre bowl. No playoff, no ACC championship, nothing like that. But it got the pressure, I feel like, off of Dabo Swinney to get a top 15 victory in pretty convincing fashion. Maybe silence the doubters, silence the haters for a little bit, because he was under a lot of heat these last few weeks. Notre Dame, on the other hand, look, they weren't going anywhere either. They weren't going to the playoffs, but their New Year's Six Bowl hopes took a major hit, losing to a mediocre Clemson team. This is a bad look for the Fighting Irish. And you lose to Ohio State, you get annihilated by Louisville. This was a game that was very, very winnable. 11 a.m. in Death Valley, mediocre Clemson team, and you laid an absolute egg. Very similar to what they did against Louisville, where Notre Dame was exploited. Sam Hartman was exploited big time by the opposing team's defense. So a big win for Clemson, bad loss for Notre Dame. They will fall drastically in our rankings, but will remain ranked. Tyler of Spartenburg, congratulations. You played a big role in your team's ability to get the win on Saturday afternoon. Over in the SEC, credit to Missouri for putting up a heck of a fight against the number 2 team in all the land. Georgia beat the Tigers 30-21, but it was close. Came down to those final few minutes. The game was tied at halftime. Missouri actually cut it to 24-21 with 12:50 remaining in the game. They were within 3 points, had a chance to go down there and take the lead with a little under 8 minutes left, but it was the big pick, right? The big interception by Nazir Stackhouse at the 50-yard line. So Missouri's down 6 points. They're driving, chance to take the lead. Pick on, it looked like just right into his arms, right at the defensive line. Nazir Stackhouse gets it. Gets called back. Almost had a pick 6, got called back. Regardless, though, Georgia was able to kick a 48-yard field goal by Peyton Woodring, make it a 30-21 game with a little under 4 minutes left. At that point, Missouri, they weren't coming back and winning that game. They would have had to get 2 scores in less than 4 minutes. Wasn't going to happen. Georgia holds on, but give credit to the Tigers, putting up a lot of fight, maybe keeping the game a lot closer than maybe a handful expected, including ourselves, who thought Georgia would win by about 2 touchdowns, instead only winning by 9. Bedlam. Let's talk about Bedlam. That was an unbelievable game, maybe the game of the day in college football. The last Bedlam meeting maybe ever, or at least for the foreseeable future, as Oklahoma is set to join the SEC next year. An emotional game for both these programs, maybe more so for Oklahoma State. Mike Gundy had his team ready to play, and his 22nd ranked Cowboys, who a few months ago were left for dead after a blowout home loss to South Alabama, has now found new life and takes down number 9 Oklahoma 27-24 and ends the Sooners' college football playoff hopes. That, to me, there's no better, fairy tale ending for the Cowboys than that. Last game against your big rival, you're mad they're leaving, you're ending the history. Let's send them out, not just with a loss in this rivalry game, but let's send them out by ruining their college football playoff hopes and maybe ruining their Big 12 title hopes as well. I mean, there's no better way to end that. What's funny about this game, guys, there were over 970 yards of offense in the game between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. And it was fitting. We knew it would be high scoring. We knew there'd be a lot of offense. But we focused so much before the game about the running backs, about the running game with both these teams. It was the quarterbacks, to me, that stole the show. Alan Bowman, a guy who's had a tumultuous career, just bouncing all over the place. Was at Texas Tech, was at Michigan, found now home at Oklahoma State, 334 yards on the day, including a 13-yard rushing touchdown. Dylan Gabriel for Oklahoma, over 340 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And the Cowboys defense coming up clutch in the final minutes, getting a stop on 4th and 5 with a minute left to close out the win. And believe it or not, it's not Oklahoma, it's not TCU, it's not Baylor, it's not Iowa State, it's not Texas Tech, it's Oklahoma State that is now in a tie with Texas for first place in the Big 12 standings. Oklahoma State does not play Texas in the regular season. They have already played Oklahoma. The schedule relatively favorable down the stretch for the Cowboys, who have also already played Kansas and Kansas State. The Cowboys can run the table. You could have a Texas-Oklahoma State Big 12 championship game. They are the top 2 teams in the conference, just like I'm sure we all predicted about 3-4 months ago. Final 2 games here, guys. Number 8, Alabama taking down LSU 42-28. This was set to be the game of the day, and it was shaping up to be until Jaden Daniels got hurt. It was a shame to see Daniels go down with an injury because he was having a phenomenal game. Now, I'm not here to tell you that LSU lost the game because of his injury. His interception was very, very costly, even though it really wasn't his fault. Ball got tipped up in the air, picked off. That gave Alabama the leverage they needed. These two teams were just trading score. As Gary Danielson said on the broadcast, it was practically a tennis match, and someone was going to have to get a break. Someone was going to have to get a break so they could get that extra one up on the other team, where they'd have to get 2 scores instead of just 1, trading them. The leg up, the break, was Alabama intercepting Jaden Daniels. That was the key. Jaden Daniels, though, 219 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, had 163 rushing yards as a quarterback, along with a rushing touchdown. But again, to start the fourth quarter, the pass was intercepted. That allowed Alabama to score a touchdown to go up 14 instead of LSU having a chance to go answer and tie the game. Once Alabama got up 14, and once Jaden Daniels, we knew, was not going to return, now entering concussion protocol after that brutal hit, the Tigers were done. They had no answer for Alabama, and the Crimson Tide get a 14-point victory at home. It was an impressive second half, though. Give them credit. Back and forth, Alabama's defense did the job. Held LSU to 7 points in the second half and just 145 yards of offense. Jalen Milroe was phenomenal. 219 yards passing with 155 rushing yards on the day and 4 rushing touchdowns for Milroe. Believe it or not, guys, Alabama's getting hot at the right time. The Crimson Tide are looking good. More than likely, they will win the remainder of their regular season games. Meaning, there's a good chance they will have an SEC championship showdown against Georgia. Meaning, if they win that, they will be in the college football playoff. A lot of people seem to have just disregarded the Crimson Tide. They disregarded Nick Saban. And yet, here we are. Alabama looked really dang good against the Tigers. And the schedule is very favorable up until the SEC championship game. Watch out. Do not count out Alabama this year. The final big game, guys, was, in fact, the battle out west, the shootout in the Coliseum. Number 5, Washington defeating number 20, USC, 52-42. We saw a ridiculous 63 first-half points between these two teams. Only 31 in the second half. But 63 points in the first half, just like Alabama LSU. Score for score. Washington got that one up. They got that leg up. Or right before halftime, where they forced a fumble on Caleb Williams, scored a touchdown right before half to go up 35-28. And give credit to the Huskies, guys. They just keep finding ways, right? They found a way to beat Oregon. They found a way to beat Arizona State and Stanford. They found a way to beat USC. Again, it was back and forth. But the defense stepped up, allowed their offense to pull away and get the 10-point victory on the road. 572 yards of offense for Washington, 515 for USC, just as we expected. But also like we expected, we said we're going to put a lot of focus on the quarterbacks, but we would not be surprised to see Washington dominate on the ground. This would be a game. Go back and watch our prediction video. We said it. We said Washington could have a major day on the ground, and they did. The Huskies had 316 rushing yards against the Trojans. That's ridiculous. That's insane. USC's defense is absolutely atrocious. It's embarrassing, and the Trojans, once believed to be college football playoff contenders, now have 3 losses on the year and very well could take their 4th next week when they travel to Oregon, who may be the best team in the Pac-12, even though Washington is the only remaining undefeated team left in the conference. But Washington, big-time win over USC, keeps those college football playoff hopes alive, remains the lone undefeated team in the Pac-12, and what was an epic shootout, but the Huskies prevail by 10. So there you go, guys. Week 10, again, unbelievable. A fantastic weekend of college football. Wouldn't have had it any other way. Lots of great upsets, lots of great games, getting some clarity. Some teams getting removed from playoff discussion. Some teams remaining in playoff discussion. Curious to see what the rankings look like on Tuesday. We'll be here with our analysis on those rankings. Stay tuned tomorrow for our official rankings. Week 11 officially kicks off right now, at the end of this video. We are moving on to Week 11 as the college football playoff race continues to take shape, as the conference races continue to take shape, and as the college football season as a whole continues to get crazier and crazier. So once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out these expert picks right here. Do not miss out. Go sign up for those today so you can take advantage of our Week 11 picks. We are winning at an alarming rate, 62-29 run. If you want in on that, go sign up today. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.